It's almost Christmas, can you believe it? The year is coming to a close, and that's a good time to reflect back on it. Stay tuned for my puzzle year 2024 Wrapped. The year is coming to an end, and I thought that would be a good time to reflect back on it, to see how many puzzles I've done, which ones, and what other interesting statistics we can see from that. And drum rolls, I've done 101 puzzles this year. And this is only unique puzzles, so only the first try is what I've counted on now. On my tracking list I actually have 115, which includes repeat attempts that I've done. But then whenever I do repeat attempts I don't always list them, so there might be more if you're really looking for a total. But for this review today I'm only counting the 101 unique puzzles that I have done in this year 2024. Make sure you stick around until the end, because in the end I've got a top 5 weirdest puzzles that I came across this year, and I'm pretty sure you will like some of them. 101 puzzles in a year, that means it's about 2 puzzles per week. And I've split that up in a nice graph here for us to see how equally that actually is with 2 puzzles per week. Have a look, you can see it's not actually that evenly distributed as I wanted to make. In the beginning of the year it's quite a bit lower. There are a few weeks where I've done no puzzles at all, there's a few where I've only done 1. The reason is that we moved house in the beginning of the year, so my housing situation was a bit weird. Nice to see is there is one week that really stands out, which is 9 puzzles in a single week. And this was quite a special week that I would call my training camp. So I was going on a trip to Palmerston North, which is a town that is maybe like 2 hours away from here. Palmerston North has the most amazing library ever. It's my favorite library in all of New Zealand. They have it's a multi-story, huge library, amazing areas to sit out, hang out, work, play, kids area. It's amazing. And they do have, close to the kids area, they have a shelf. I kid you not, it's like, how much would that be? 5 meters? 7 meters? And all the way to the ceiling. And it's all stacked full with puzzles. Any size, 300, 500,000, even more. It's amazing. It's the best library ever. And I've been to Palmerston North in that week. So my husband was working there and I was joining him. I didn't have much to do. So I went to the library almost every day and were doing jigsaw puzzles in the library, because I can't borrow from there because I don't live there. So I was doing 9 jigsaw puzzles in the week. They have a huge selection of Ravensburger 500 pieces, but then also, as I'm saying, smaller and bigger ones. And okay, let's move on to how many pieces that equals. 101 jigsaw puzzles, in my case, equals 77,850 pieces. I'm sorry, I have to read this out. Which means it's an average of 771 pieces per puzzle. Which means there's some 500s and some thousands. But let's have a look at another graph here. So I had about a third of the puzzles were 500 piece puzzles, and just over half were 1,000 piece puzzles. I've got a couple, 9 puzzles that were smaller, then 3 that are kind of in between, and 2 1,500 puzzles. So I have not completed anything larger than 1,500 this year. The main reason is that I usually get my jigsaw puzzles from the library, and they don't really stock bigger puzzles that much. So it's quite hard to find anything over 1,000 here on our library, so I would need to buy one. But I was actually thinking maybe next year I'll buy a bigger one, maybe a 3,000 or 5,000 or something challenging. I don't know yet, we'll see. Alright, next up we're gonna have a look at the different brands that my jigsaw puzzles were from. So I've got 101 puzzles and they were from 36 different brands. Let's have a look on the details here. So the most brand that I've made up this year was Holton with 28 puzzles. So that is just over a quarter of all the puzzles that I've made. Holton, if you don't know, is a New Zealand brand. I'm not sure if it's known much outside of New Zealand, but it is the most well-known brand in New Zealand. I'm struggling a bit with those guys because they are having quite a difficult cut of pieces. If you have a look at my other video which explains the different die cuts, I'll just link it up here for you. Holton has the one where when you put the rows and the columns, the corners of the pieces, they don't match up. So it's fairly difficult to put together. Moving on, my second highest one is Ravensburger. So Ravensburger is a German brand, aus Ravensburg in Germany. And it is the market leader for jigsaw puzzles. I'm sure everyone here knows Ravensburger. They have a easier cut, and also the images are usually easier. Because the idea is, if jigsaw puzzles are easier from the image and from the cut, people are faster, people enjoy them more, and they are more happy. So that's kind of more where the masses go. They want to be the market leader, have a high market share, so they're going for a bit easier puzzles and less difficult die cuts. Ravensburger is also interesting because the Ravensburger puzzles are quite often used in the jigsaw puzzle competitions. Not always, but most of them. And the reason for that is, one, they're the market leader, but two, they also sponsor most of the competitions. So obviously you want to do a lot of Ravensburgers if you go to these kind of competitions, so you know what you're talking about and what you're in for. Then we have a whole bunch of small little brands, yeah, those other 34 brands. You might have heard some of them, like MB Puzzle, or yeah, I don't know. A lot of them are really tiny brands, or like souvenir shop type puzzles, or like no-name brands from like hardware stores and supermarkets, and yeah, like nothing too special to be pointing out here, I'd say. Alright, let's look at some timings. I mean, I'm all about speed puzzling, so let's have a look what the timings were. Overall, for the 101 jigsaw puzzles, I spent, and I'm reading this out again, sorry, 305 hours, 34 minutes and 58 seconds. So 305 hours in total. That would equal, if you would puzzle non-stop, or if I had puzzled non-stop, would equal 12 days and 17 hours, 34 minutes and 58 seconds. So 12 days of my life this year I spent on puzzling alone. Wow, that is some dedication, I guess. Alright, so the mean of that, so I'm talking about averages here. So average is a kind of a bit of an odd word because there's different types of averages. So the mean is found by adding all the times up and then dividing it by the number of the puzzle. So that's what you usually call an average. The mean is 3 hours, 1 minute, 32. And the median, so the median is a different type of average, is the middle value if you have all the times ordered from fastest to slowest. So the median is 2 hours and 54:51. So in that case, that means that I have more, like a lot of them are faster, but there is a few outliers which are really slow, which kind of screwing the mean, and therefore the median is lower than the mean. Does that make sense? If that's too much numbers and statistics for you, it's about 3 hours on average. The fastest puzzle I've made up this year is the Rainbow Zebra from Puzzlebug, and that took me 8 minutes and 32 seconds for a 100-piece puzzle, which equals 11.72 pieces per minute, or ppm. In the speed puzzling world, we use ppm to compare the times of different size puzzles, so you can compare a 100-piece puzzle with a 500 and a 1000. So you take the time and then divide it by the number of pieces to get to the pieces per minute. Fastest puzzle overall, including repeats, was the Feral Craft Beer. If you remember my other video, I'm linking it up here again. I was making this up 10 times in a row, or was it 11? It was too much. It was definitely too much. And I made it up so many times in a row to see how much I would improve. If you want to have a look, really watch that video, it's quite fun. And the fastest attempt I've ever done on the Feral Craft Beer, which is also the fastest attempt of any puzzle I've made last year, is 5 minutes and 28 for, again, a 100-piece puzzle, which equals a ppm, or pieces per minute, of 18.25. So in every single minute I would put on average 18.3 pieces together on that puzzle. Let's go on to the other side. The slowest puzzle I've made up this year was Mont Saint-Michel from Nathan, which is a French brand, and Mont Saint-Michel is a castle or city, or castle city, I don't know, in France. And it's a 1,500-piece puzzle, which took me 16 hours and 39 minutes. I mean, it took me about 4.5 hours just to complete the castle and then the green with the sheep on the bottom. And then it took me another 12 hours to get through the sky. I mean, it was such a mission. Oh my god. I mean, it also had quite a difficult cut. And then the problem was that you had so many false fits, and even if the piece from the picture would fit in, like belong into the place, the pieces just didn't fit. Like the cut and the quality of this puzzle was so horrendous, and the sky was so huge. I was really a mission, so I was so glad when I had done that. Never again. This one was really, really challenging. Because jigsaw puzzle competitions are quite often on 500 piece puzzles, I thought I'll give you quick statistics just on my 500 piece puzzles. So the mean, which is the first type of average we're talking about, the one that usually people call the average. So the average time was 1 hour and 40 with 17 seconds, and the median was 1 hour and 33 and 38 seconds. In saying that, the fastest puzzle in the 500 piece range that I've done this year was the Four Seasons from Ravensburger. So this is a panorama where you have 4 different trees from the different season. And one was relatively easy because you have the 4 different individual images, and they even have a white frame around, so it's kind of really easy to put the 4 frames on there. Only the trees are a bit of a challenge because the leaves kind of look a bit samey within each other. But otherwise the puzzle is really straightforward. I completed this in 1 hour and 51 seconds. I was quite sad that I didn't actually cross the 1 hour mark because I've never made a 500 piece puzzle in less than an hour. But this one I got really, really close, so I'm hopeful that next year I will get there. This is my goal for next year, to actually do a 500 piece puzzle in under an hour. My slowest 500 piece puzzle was the BBC Planet Earth Pole to Pole, which is these lovely penguins and a lot of snow and some ice and some snow and ice and penguins, and they all look the same. And this one was really, really hard. And for a 500 piece puzzle, it took me 3 hours, 53 minutes and 58, so almost 4 hours for a 500 piece puzzle, which is 4 times longer than the fastest one. So you can see how difficult this one was. I have to say I can't remember if the cut was difficult or not, but definitely the image. You can see it here, like the penguins all look the same. There's this huge area of snow in the middle, and then there is not the sky, there's the ocean in the background. But yeah, I think that was probably the easiest part. Yeah. Moving on to the 1000 piece puzzles. The mean here is 3 hours 57:42. And the median is 3 hours 33:17. So the mean is almost 4 hours and the median is 3.5 hours, which means there are some that are really, really slow, but most of them are faster than 4 hours. Let's have a look at the fastest one. The fastest one was Fantastic TV Show from Hinkler, which is a 1000 piece puzzle, obviously, in 2 hours 26 and 34 seconds. So just under 2.5 hours. Really happy with that. For me, the very busy and very cluttered puzzles are the fastest, so I find them the easiest. Like the hidden objects and Where is Waldo type puzzles, where you can take a piece and you just search on the box where they belong, and you kind of just place everything where it goes and slowly work your way through. Those ones are on average my fastest ones. So on the other end of the spectrum, I've got this one here. It is Petra and Jordan from YWOW Brands. It is another 1000 piece puzzle, but this one took me 8 hours 21:27. The reason is, look at it, it all looks the same. There are so many straight lines, they're all the same, and it's really hard to kind of search for where which piece goes. It has a little bit of sky, and I think the interesting part here is that this is one of the only puzzles where I was really looking forward to the sky, and where the sky is the easiest part. Alright, let's get to the part that everyone was waiting for, the top 5 of the weirdest puzzles that I came across in 2024. Number 1 is Wolfpack from Suns Out. So this is a shape puzzle. I've done a few shape puzzles this year, like round ones and the beer can, all sorts of stuff. But from the shaped puzzles, the ones that are not squared or rectangular, the Wolfpack was the most interesting one. So the corner, the edge is around the wolves that you can see here, and especially with that leg on the bottom, like the shapes of those pieces are quite interesting, and it's a bit funny to put them together. Otherwise, the inside of the puzzle is really straightforward, it's just a normal cut, but I thought for a shape puzzle this one was really nice. I liked it a lot. Number 2 of the weirdest puzzles that I came across in 2024 is Hoffman House Rack from Gallison. So Hoffman House is a house that is designed from Frank Lloyd Wright. It is in New York and was built in 1955. And this image here is the rug that went into the living room of this house. So the interesting part about this puzzle is the 15 special feature pieces that are in there. So you can see that usually they are quite the normal cut, but then you have, for example, this circle here where the whole circle is one single piece, and then you have some other weird pieces that kind of go around it to make it back into the normal cut. So that one was really interesting. I also made it up in a library in Hamilton, and I really enjoyed that one. I liked the picture and I did like the cut. It was really fun. I really liked this one. Number 3 on my list of the weirdest jigsaw puzzles I've made up this year in 2024 is Super 3D A Catnap. This one is a 3D image. Unfortunately, it doesn't come through the camera that well, but in reality it was really impressive. So this one is one of the images, I'm sure you had as a child, you had like a postcard or something, I'm sure you know what I mean, that when you tilt it, it starts to move and you can see it from different angles, and then also some things seem like they're closer to you and some seem like they're further away. So those butterflies in the front, they were really popping out, and the lion in the background was quite far away. This is also not a cardboard puzzle like normal ones, so it had cardboard on the bottom and then it had this plastic layer on the top. So in the plastic layer they have this little texture in there that makes that effect. And because it was the plastic layer on top, it would also click really interestingly, like trying to click them together, like really nice. I actually did an ASMR video on that because I love the clicking so much. Check it out, it's linked up here. It was amazing. I really loved this one, but as a jigsaw puzzle it was really hard. It took me forever to complete it, but it was a nice challenge and I really enjoyed the difference that it made. Yeah, I like this one too. Number 4 on my list of the weirdest puzzles that I came across in 2024 is Coronation Street from Wholesome. Coronation Street is a soap opera that's really popular in the UK, but because of Commonwealth and stuff, it's also quite popular in New Zealand and probably in Australia too. I don't watch these kind of things. I don't know nothing about Coronation Street really, but this puzzle here is double-sided, and as soon as I was reading double-sided, I was like, I'm gonna have to have it. It's another one from the library, so I didn't buy it. So it was double-sided, so I thought it would be really, really hard. But then when I came home and opened the box, it was actually really easy. Because one side is a color image, so it's a collage of different photos, but one side is colored and the back side is black and white. So it was actually not too bad, so you could really easily sort them out and put them all the same way, and it's just a normal puzzle, and it's one of those cluttered hidden object puzzles that I really like. So yeah, that one was much easier than I thought it would be. Interesting experience. I was thinking it might be really hard, but it wasn't. And the last one, the final one in my top 5 list of the weirdest puzzles I came across this year, 2024, is the Autumn Sunset from Play Studio. So Play Studio is a no-name brand, or like a supermarket-owned brand type situation. So the manufacturer is nothing special, but if you look at it, it's a 1,000-piece puzzle. It's really difficult because the Autumn Sunset, everything is yellow, orange, brown, like all the same color from the same color family. So it's really hard to sort it out and to figure it out and to put it together. I tried to puzzle it like a normal puzzle until I realized it will take me forever and a day to finish this. And then I decided to cheat. Let me know if you think it's cheating or not. If you look closely on the back side of the puzzle, there's little letters from A, B, C, D, E, F. So from A to F. And then I figured out that all the A's are in the top left corner, all the B's are top middle, the C is top right, D bottom left, E bottom mid, and the F is on the bottom right. So I sorted them by those numbers into the 6 different piles. The letters on the back side. And then some of the pieces actually have 2 letters, so you can see that that's the border between those squares. So I put up the frame first and then puzzle every single individually, every single section. So that made it so much faster and so much more interesting. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, yeah. I did come across another puzzle that had that same thing as well, and I did the same cheating again. Do you think it's cheating? Is it cheating? Is it not? I mean, it's a puzzle, whatever it takes to put the puzzle together. I didn't take any other means than the puzzle, and that's what it is. Let me know if you think it's cheating. This is the end of my puzzle year 2024. And I'm quite curious what 2025 is going to bring. I signed up for my very first speed puzzling competition in February, so that is the New Zealand Masters Games. If you're interested, watch this video next. It will show you what I think that my chances are going to be about this competition. And who knows, maybe it's the National Championships in Auckland in July next, and then the Worlds in Spain after that in September. Who knows? Stay tuned, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss a beat. Bye!